I know nothing. I hear nothing. I see nothing. Hogan's Heroes wasn't just another 1960s sitcom. It was a bold, audacious satire wrapped in military green that undermined tyranny with laughter. Behind the cheerful drill and bunk bed camaraderie in Stalag 13, chaos erupted. From hidden backgrounds of cast to weird production gimmicks to studio panic over real-world war echoes, we're peeling back the curtain. Here are 20 weird facts about Hogan's Heroes that even hardcore fans rarely know. Fact number 20. The most shocking truth is that the actors portraying the German officers and guards were largely Jewish men who personally fled Nazi regimes. It wasn't typical casting. It was inspired subversion. The men who played Klinkschultz, Burkhalter, and Hochstetter had all emigrated from or escaped from the Third Reich. They took roles that lampooned the very machinery they once feared. Not just irony, but catharsis. What audiences didn't know is how heavy that irony weighed. Every bumbling salute or trembling order carried unspoken memory. The show disguised trauma with jokes, but behind the laughter, there was survivor's resolve. The legacy of that choice hits hard now. Fact number 19. From day one, the camp looked cold and bleak. It wasn't filmed in wintry Germany. It was shot under sunny California skies on a backlot where snow was a fabrication. What viewers didn't realize is the snow was originally salt, then painted white surfaces. Production kept that perpetual winter mood for continuity and tone. Not summer sunshine, but faux frost. Actors sweated in heavy jackets while pretending icy wind cut their cheeks. The illusion cracked in close-ups but held for broadcast. The always winter aesthetic reinforced the surreal backdrop of comedy in captivity. It was theatrical artifice hiding rugged effort. The sincerity of that effort comes through in every scene. Fact number 18. Filming location drama burst into view when the Stalag 13 set on the old RKO 40 acres backlot survived years only to be destroyed in a later production. It wasn't left to rest. It was blown up during filming of a different film in 1974. The very walls that housed Hogan's antics were demolished for someone else's explosion. That destruction erased physical history even as the show lived on in memory. Crew members who'd built tunnels, bunkhouses, and guard towers watched them vanish in pyrotechnics. The set's implosion echoes the show's themes of escape and disappearance. The grounds that hosted comedic war games ended their life in cinematic warfare of another kind. Fact number 17. Early testing nearly killed the tone of the show. It wasn't aired immediately as a pure comedy. It was tested with and without a laugh track. Network research found the version without the laugh track performed poorly, so a canned track was added to punctuate comedic beats. That decision shaped the genre. The production leaned into sitcom rules while depicting a POW camp. Not gritty realism, but stylized farce. The laugh track softened the war camp premise and helped sell the conceit. What audiences didn't realize is how much the sitcom conventions buffered the absurd setup from serious history. The result is tonal tension, war backdrop framing pratfalls, and sabotage. Fact number 16. Studio executives grew uneasy as the real world turned darker. It wasn't just about POW antics, it was about timing. In the late 1960s, with the Vietnam War raging and global attitudes shifting, the network quietly pulled the plug after season 6 in 1971. The show had been popular, but suddenly looked problematic. Mocking Nazis as comic figures while contemporary conflict raged felt uneasy. Not clever satire only, but potential liability. The decision to cancel came not from ratings collapse, but from cultural wariness. Viewers at home were changing, and producers sensed risk. The legacy of that decision lingers in the series' abrupt end and the what-if aura around it. Fact number 15. Before it became the show, we know Hogan's Heroes had a secret pilot under a different title. It was called simply Heroes, and it was darker, sharper, and less humorous. The original version leaned toward wartime intrigue rather than slapstick rebellion. The network feared it was too grim for prime time, so writers injected broad humor and absurd command blunders. Not espionage tension, but mischievous comedy. The transformation from bleak resistance story to surreal farce defined the show's identity. What audiences never saw was that pilot sitting in archives representing a path not taken. That version showed a more cynical vision of war. The final product hid tragedy behind punchlines, but the DNA of the pilot still lingers beneath every laugh. Fact number 14. The star Bob Crane was not just the charming mastermind on screen. Behind the cameras, he was a radio veteran obsessed with technology. He brought his own reel-to-reel recorders onto set to capture sound experiments and to document scenes for timing, not vanity, but curiosity. Crew joked that he was building a personal archive of Hogan's world. Yet that obsession blurred lines later, when his offset recordings became part of darker stories after his death. On set, though, he was the unofficial sound editor, constantly tweaking cues and line rhythm. It gave the show an unusually tight comedic pace. Crane's precise timing shaped the energy of every caper and escape plan. Fact number 13. Richard Dawson, who played Corporal Newkirk, turned the role into an audition for his later fame. He used his quick wit between takes to test jokes and crowd charm that later powered his hosting of Family Feud. But what few knew was that Dawson often clashed with Crane over spotlight control. Not friendly rivalry, but creative tension. Directors had to separate them more than once during blocking sessions. The tension made scenes spark with real energy. It was comic chemistry built on competition. Their bickering gave the show sharper edges than scripted. Behind that cheerful camaraderie was ego battle camouflaged as banter. Fact number 12. The show's props department performed miracles with low budgets. Those secret tunnels seen in escape episodes were not full structures. They were narrow wooden trenches, barely shoulder wide, with false ends for camera tricks. Actors had to crawl backward out of frame, pretending to go deeper. Not deep escape routes, but claustrophobic boxes. Lighting crews fought to make them look infinite. Every escape shot was a puzzle of mirrors and angles. The illusion of sprawling underground networks was achieved through quick cuts and actor choreography. What appeared as vast ingenuity on screen was actually pure set magic squeezed into a few square feet of lumber and paint. Fact number 11. One of the most dangerous moments on set came during a routine explosion gag. A misfire in the special effects charge sent debris flying near the actors. No one was badly hurt, but panic erupted. Production halted for hours while safety teams recalibrated. It wasn't action hero glory, but real fear. The show might have been comedy, but the pyrotechnics were live and unpredictable. The crew learned that even staged war carries risk. That near accident led to stricter guidelines for all future stunt setups. It reminded everyone that behind the laugh track stood a real production field with genuine hazards and split-second trust among crew. Fact number 10. By season 3, the writer's room was running on chaos. Storylines began repeating and tempers flared as deadlines closed in. The pressure to keep each plot fresh while staying within the absurd POW setting nearly broke the creative team. Not smooth television, but frantic improvisation. Some scripts were finished the night before shooting. Actors often arrived on set with rewritten dialogue waiting on their bunks. That tension created spontaneity, but also exhaustion. It was organized panic disguised as effortless humor. Go ahead and like and subscribe, because the next 9 facts reveal how fame, controversy, and tragedy collided once the cameras stopped rolling. Fact number 9. Werner Klemperer, who played Colonel Klink, agreed to take the role only under one rule. The Nazis must always lose, never victorious, never competent. It was not negotiation, but moral demand. Klemperer's father was the famed conductor Otto Klemperer, who fled Hitler's Germany. The irony of playing a pompous fool in a Nazi uniform carried deep personal weight. Each scene was his statement against tyranny disguised as clownery. Viewers laughed at Klink's failures, But for Klemperer, it was defiance, not comedy. That condition shaped every script involving the colonel, ensuring that the prisoner's intellect always triumphed over fascist arrogance. Fact number 8. Sergeant Schultz became the heart of the show, yet actor John Banner's past was steeped in tragedy. He was born in Vienna and barely survived the rise of Nazism. His family perished in concentration camps while he escaped through immigration. Playing the bumbling guard who always said, "I know nothing," was his paradox. Not parody, but a protective shield. Offset, Banner was known for deep kindness and heavy sadness. The laughter audiences heard was therapy disguised as performance. Schultz's clumsy innocence mirrored a man wrestling with ghosts. That complexity turned a comic role into quiet redemption and made Schultz unforgettable. Fact number 7. The production schedule was brutal. Each episode shot in only 5 days, and each day packed with up to 14 hours of work. It was military precision for a show mocking military life. Not leisure, but relentless grind. The crew nicknamed the backlot the camp because they practically lived there. Night shoots for tunnel scenes blended into early morning call times. Writers slept on couches. The efficiency paid off with polished rhythm, but at cost of burnout. Several supporting players left mid-season citing exhaustion. Hogan's Heroes looked effortless, yet its machine was powered by near soldier-like endurance. Fact number 6. A running rumor haunted the series. Many believed the German language spoken in background scenes had hidden insults directed at Nazis. It was true. Actors fluent in German slipped in phrases mocking the regime. They used real profanity disguised under laughter tracks. Not rebellion in headlines, but secret catharsis. Censors never caught it, and audiences never knew. For those who once fled oppression, it was small victory whispered through dialogue. Those murmured jabs transformed background chatter into invisible protest. Every soundbite carried coded revenge, wrapped in situational comedy. That rebellion stayed buried on magnetic tape for decades. Fact number 5. Few fans realize how strict the censorship board remained during the show's early years. NBC executives feared backlash from veterans groups who saw no humor in prisoner camps. To calm them, the producers agreed to ban all references to death or torture. Not freedom of art, but negotiated survival. Even when characters were threatened, the script could never say killed or executed. The result forced creativity. Writers used phrases like sent to the cooler or taken away. The restriction ironically made the comedy sharper because danger was always implied but never named. It gave the show tension beneath its laughter and preserved its strange moral balance between absurdity and wartime truth. Fact number 4. When the show reached syndication in the 1970s, foreign broadcasters reacted in unpredictable ways. In Germany, it aired under strict supervision with all Nazi symbols blurred or removed. Not celebration, but historical discomfort. Yet surprisingly, it found loyal German fans who appreciated its satire of authoritarian stupidity. The dubbing replaced jokes about Americans with general anti-bureaucratic humor. The show became both forbidden and beloved, depending on the country. Its international journey proved the universality of mocking power. No matter the language, Klink and Schultz remained universal buffoons, proving that laughter can dismantle fear more effectively than lectures ever could. Fact number 3. Robert Clary, who played Corporal LeBeau, carried the heaviest history of all. He survived actual Nazi concentration camps as a child. Not fiction, but lived horror. During shooting, he rarely spoke about it, yet his presence grounded the entire cast. When others joked, he sometimes stepped away to breathe. His calm professionalism turned the set into a safe space. Later, Clary said that acting in Hogan's Heroes allowed him to laugh at what once broke him. It was survival turned into art. His performance of quick wit and resilience mirrored his own endurance through unthinkable cruelty. That reality gave the show emotional gravity hidden behind its humor. Fact number 2. In later seasons, the network demanded more slapstick and less subtext. Executives wanted safer laughs and broader audiences. Writers rebelled quietly, inserting moral lessons inside absurd schemes. Not obedience, but subversion. The episodes where Hogan manipulates Clink into saving prisoners or sabotaging cruelty were coded acts of protest against dumbing down. The tension between satire and silliness defined those final scripts. It wasn't just comedy about war, it was commentary on television itself, fighting against censorship. That creative pushback preserved the show's intelligence until the final curtain. Behind those simple pranks lay genuine defiance from artists refusing to become hollow entertainers. Fact number 1. Bob Crane's murder in 1978 cast a dark shadow over everything that came before. Found dead in his apartment, the case remains one of Hollywood's enduring mysteries. Not just scandal, but heartbreak. Castmates were devastated, and production lore turned into tabloid myth. The cheerful mastermind of Stalag 13 was gone under violent mystery. His death ended any chance of reunion and redefined the show's legacy. Fans rewatched episodes searching for clues or symbolism that was never there. Hogan's Heroes ended on air in laughter, but off-screen it concluded in silence. Crane's tragedy sealed the show's transformation from sitcom to haunting legend. Bonus fact: years after cancellation, reruns of Hogan's Heroes played on armed forces networks across the world, including in bases stationed in Germany itself. Soldiers laughed at Colonel Clink while stationed only miles from real wartime history. It wasn't irony, it was healing through humor. The show that began as a risky experiment became a symbol of resilience. Behind those fake barracks lay courage, defiance, and the strange power of laughter to rebuild what fear once destroyed. Even now, its echo remains a reminder that sometimes the bravest act is to laugh in the face of the past. Hit like, share, and subscribe for more hidden truths from television's wildest sets.